Hello and welcome everyone to another exciting episode of my online talk show Sounds Good. After having seen the insights of immigrants' life in Canada, this episode will highlight the experiences and struggles of immigrants with a special focus on life in New Zealand. Our special guest for the episode, Miss Lorna Lianen, will share her experiences and her journey as she moved from Philippines to New Zealand, of course, with a dream of starting a new and prosperous life. So please welcome the very special guest for the episode, Miss Lorna Lianen. Hi Lorna, how are you?
Hello, Amit. How are you? I'm fine, thank you.
I'm also doing great, thank you. So first, Lorna, I will just give a brief background about you to my viewers. Lorna is basically from Antipolo city of Philippines. She immigrated to New Zealand in year 2016 on study basis. While she was doing really good in her home country along with her family, they somehow decided to move to New Zealand to have a better and rewarding career for themselves and for their children. And that's how the struggle begins. The struggle of bringing their family together and the struggle of studying to advance her career. So Lorna, in this episode, I will be asking you some questions that will help the viewers understand the transitions that we undergo in terms of lifestyle changes, weather changes, atmosphere changes, and how we adapt to them. So first of all, Lorna, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart that despite your busy timeline and the time difference, of course, you still agreed to be a part of my show to share your experiences and journey. I'm quite sure that this will help the potential aspirants to make a good decision who also want to pursue the same dream. Thank you so much. So Lorna, how are you feeling for being a part of my show?
Well, I'm thrilled and honored because there's so many immigrants here in New Zealand, but I get the chance to be part of your show. Isn't it exciting?
Thank you so much.
It makes me to reminisce the excitement and the anxiousness on the early days when I am still preparing for coming here to New Zealand. It brings back the memories.
Yeah, that's true, right? I'm also super excited to have you on the show because in the last episodes, I only discussed about the lifestyle in Canada, and I have also seen that. But I was so excited to have someone who immigrated to a different country, like in New Zealand, and to share their experiences. So once again, thank you.
Welcome.
Lorna, what was your idea or inspiration behind moving to New Zealand?
Okay, so there are actually two things, two goals. The first one is to study, and then second is to bring my family together. Because at that time, I was working in an international organization. I do have some promotions already, but in the past 5-6 years, I've been the level where I am in has been stagnant. So I think I must further my studies so that I could have a career, advance in career. And then secondly, just like some of the Filipinos, where there are OFWs, it stands for Overseas Filipino Workers, like the father or the mother would work abroad in order to provide a living to their family back home. So one family is such as, so where my husband works abroad. So who is very rare with us. He would just come home once a year, or sometimes we'll be missing him for a year or two. And then he will just be with us for a few weeks or maximum a month per year, or sometimes more than a year. So really, it's really sad. And then of course you'll be excited if he's coming home. But in just few weeks' time, he will leave us. So the loneliness is there. I can bear that thought, but for my two daughters, I can see them growing up without their father. And I could see the loneliness in their eyes whenever their father leaves. And for me, I'm like a solo parent. It's very difficult. So I said, okay, we must find a place where we could all be together. Well, my husband could come back in the Philippines and find a job, but well, the salary wouldn't be that great, right? So yeah, and then so actually we tried going to Qatar because that's where he is based, and
Okay.
just to feel the country if I will have the opportunity to get a job. Okay, so true enough, I found a job, but unfortunately, that job and my husband income will not be enough for us to make me study. So it wouldn't cover the tuition fee. Plus, if I will bring in my two daughters with us, it wouldn't also be enough. And you know, it's good if you will go to a certain place and then stay there for a few months so that you would really feel to see the disadvantage and advantage if it's right for you before you bring your family with you. Okay. So I found Middle East not too conducive to bring up a family. So I found another way and looking for another countries. Actually, I've been thinking about moving to Singapore or Hong Kong or to Australia, Canada, and US. I would like to study there, but the tuition fee is so expensive. Until finally, I found an institution here in New Zealand that offers a fair tuition, which I can afford. So
Okay.
yeah, so I went through all the requirements and then submitted, and then finally I got the offer of study. So I said, if I will be able to graduate there and find a job, I would also be able to bring my husband and my two daughters with me. So it's like shooting two birds in one stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I finally actually completed my goal. That is to study and to bring my family together.
Wow, that's really great. The first thing that I observed while you were sharing your experience is, like, normally it happens that if people have a good job, they are getting promotions, but even if they get stagnant, they do not really make efforts to like go for something new because they're like, okay, even if I'm stagnant and I'm doing good, they do not like really prefer to go for a change. But I really want to salute that you choose to still struggle more, and you choose to advance your career while at the same time considering to reunite your family and
Yeah.
going through struggles. So yes, Lorna, I think you already inspired my viewers that you're really a strong lady and you made a really wise decision and you did good. I
Wow,
hope
I'm humbled
so.
by your words. Thank you very much.
That's really nice to share. So, Lorna, what were the beginning steps from Philippines for immigration to New Zealand?
Yeah, okay. I think there's a universal steps no in applying for a residency, work visa, students or visit visa that's
Mhm.
available in Immigration New Zealand website. So you just go
Okay.
there and search for it. I suggest also that you hire the service of an immigration advisor so that they could provide you with the right advice and they would also suggest the right documents to submit. Okay.
Mhm.
And then it's either you or the immigration advisor will seek an education provider here in New Zealand that would offer you an overall place to study. And then you must also have enough funds. This is important.
Yeah,
Okay.
true.
I checked recently the immigration website, and it still says that you must have at least 15,000 New Zealand dollars. So just do
Okay.
the math, just
In
convert
your
it
home
into your
country
own
currency.
country
Mhm.
currencies. Yes. So that's just about your allowance for a year. So you have,
Okay.
yeah, on top of your tuition, it really depends.
Mhm.
And of course, other levies and fees and other things that you need to pay. And of course, your immigration advisor and your plane ticket. Okay. So
Okay.
you must really have that funds, okay,
Mhm.
ready. And you'll
Okay.
never know if you will meet some emergencies here. At least you, and yeah, another thing is that you cannot be sure that you will find a job right away.
Yeah,
No?
true.
So having a money would really help you, okay,
That you
all
will
throughout
be
the
able
job.
to meet your expenses if you land there, even if you don't land a job immediately. So you should have some money to as a backup to meet your expenses, right? And okay, that's
Correct.
perfect. And I think
Especially,
study is a good option to start with, as long as you find a good immigration consultant and a good institute. Yeah.
that's right. That's right. Okay, and just to remind you that, of course, New Zealand and even Canada, it's an expensive country. The cost of
True.
living is very high as compared to our home countries, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so aside from the money, you must ensure that you must also have a valid passport. I
Of
think just like
course.
anyone else, okay? It
Mhm.
shouldn't expire in less than 6 months' time. You must have the recent acceptable photos, and you must undergo a medical and X-ray from
Okay.
an accredited health providers. So don't just go to any clinics. You must check with immigration which health
Mhm.
providers are accredited with them. Okay.
Okay.
And then in the Philippines, you must also secure an NBI clearance and then choose the international destination, not domestic. It is like a police clearance. Okay. So
Mhm.
NBI, the Filipinos knows about this. And then yeah, so you're all set. Just follow the rules, complete the
Mhm.
requirements, and just wait for your visa to come out.
Oh, that's great. And in fact, I believe New Zealand is still more expensive than in Canada in some respects. Like in Canada, you just pay the rent monthly, but in New Zealand, it's like paying bi-weekly. So I think that even add to your expenses, you have to be worried about your paying rent every 2 weeks. So in Canada, I think some places of Canada has really good and affordable housing prices. I'm not sure about New Zealand though, but it's more expensive than New Zealand, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah. So how were your beginning days in New Zealand when you immigrated? Like how you manage your work-life balance or stuff like that?
Oh, you know what, Amit? When I came here, winter is
Mhm.
about to start.
Oh,
You know, coming from a very warm country where we experience the normal Celsius degree of 25, 30, 35 to 40 degrees. And then
yeah.
when my first day here is always less than 10 degrees.
Oh my
And then it
goodness.
could sometimes go below zero. You know,
Oh
that's a
yeah.
struggle. You know,
Mhm.
the weather. In generally, New Zealand is a cold country, and
Yeah,
up to now, I'm still not used with the cold. Okay,
true.
and then my first time here, I went to a boarding room. It's like a boarding house, okay, where there are different students living in there. So it's very small, but of course, back in the Philippines, you have your own home, but here you have to share with other people
Yeah,
who you know.
true.
But luckily, since it's my first time to be alone, really, in a new
Mhm.
country, I'm happy that I could hear some voices that is coming from my fellow Filipinos. Okay.
Wow.
And I also found that the school where I'm going in, there's a lot of Asians. So
Mhm.
Indians, Nepalese, you know, we have sometimes some similar cultures.
Yeah, true.
And the yeah, so I feel a little bit at home in my
Mhm.
school and where I am studying and where I am staying. Okay, so that makes me feel I'm not too missing the home yet, but yeah, at
Okay.
least since it's my first time, someone accompanied me to the school, toured me around the Christchurch, and then they also toured me where I could buy my food, all the basic necessities. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's great to be there. And then when it comes to work-life balance, you know, I mean, in the Philippines, I've been working in an international organization, and when you're working there, the quality of your work must really be of high standard. That means it's
True.
a bit stressful or hectic. Okay,
Yeah.
then I must endure the you know, the heavy traffic every day, going
Oh.
to the work and then going back home. And
Mhm.
then I am a solo parent to two daughters. And then on the
Okay.
side, I also have a business. So I'm very
Mhm.
busy. Okay. But in coming here in New Zealand, I'm a student. I'm free. I mean, I don't have responsibilities. In
True.
the Philippines, my job is to research and prepare the information that I need to provide to my clients.
Mhm.
Here, you just listen to your tutor and absorb all the informations that they will give you. They will give you
Yeah.
the resources and then you just read through it. It's very different. I have time for myself. So I have times to take care of myself, to watch my favorite movies and to yeah, just make friends.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I believe even from my past interviews, the first and foremost struggle that immigrants go through is the weather. Because even in India, the weather is hot, like 40 degrees, as you said, or even more sometimes. And when I landed in Calgary, it was cold, and I was just telling myself, Amit, don't feel cold. Just go for it. You have to stay normal. Just don't feel cold. And yeah, of course, if you find your fellow people from your same community, that is even more relaxing.
Yeah.
Because yeah, even when I landed here and I could see some Punjabi peoples, my community peoples around me, it was really relaxing for me. I remember once I tried to move my location, like from within Calgary but close to my work, and that work had more of English people, but they wouldn't even come out of their houses. There would be no noises around me, there would be no
Yeah.
people around me. And the first night of my stay in the new place, I felt so homesickness, and I was like, no, I cannot stay here because I don't see people around me. Then the
Mm.
next morning I called my owner that I want to go back, I can't stay here. And they were like, what happened in one night, Amit? I was like, yeah, I'm so depressed because I'm alone by myself, and then I don't even see people around me. Then they were good enough to let me go, and that was really nice of them. But yeah, I understand when you said that it's really
Yeah.
relaxing to hear people from your community speaking around
Yes.
you or walking around you. It's
Yeah.
really important. Okay, Lorna, so we'll go a little easy now. So what is something you would like to share that you really miss about Philippines?
Okay. This is embarrassing to say, but I must be honest. I miss the food.
Of course.
I'm a food lover. One thing that will make you comfortable is to have the food around you. But, well, we can have it here in New Zealand. But the thing is, everything that was sourced outside is already imported. So when you say
Yeah,
imported, it is expensive.
true.
So that's what I miss in the Philippines, the food. And then followed by the cheap products and services. Because in the
Mhm.
Philippines, you can have your hair done, makeup, massage, facial. And here, you have to do it on your own because otherwise it's so expensive if you will do it
Expensive,
here.
true.
So that's what I really miss in the Philippines.
Yeah, that's true. The food and then expenses, especially the Indian spices, if you go to buy, they are way expensive than as much you will spend in India. That's so true. Would you like to share any funny incident in New Zealand that you experienced in your beginning days? Like you were not expecting that and it turned out to be really funny for you?
So just thinking about it, I'm already laughing. Okay. Actually, the European, they are usually tall. Okay. But since I am vertically disadvantaged, I'm just less than 5 feet tall, just to tell you. So one time when I went to a grocery and bought a wine,
Mhm.
the European lady at the checkout asked for my ID. Only I could say to her, hey, maybe your age is the same as mine, or maybe our age gap is not that far. But then, of course, I just gave her my ID. And when he saw my birthday, yeah, she just smiled. Maybe she thought that, oh, we're almost of the same age. And then she let me buy that one. And it also happened when I went to casino twice. Actually, I used to work there on a casual basis. And then, but my regular part-time was in a posh hotel here in Christchurch. And during the
Okay.
orientation, we were sent to casino just to see the facility because that is one of the places that we tell our guests to go to around the Christchurch. Okay. So when we are about to enter casino, again, the guard is looking at my HR supervisor and in between, no, he's looking at my HR supervisor and me. It's like telling her, minors
ID.
are not allowed. So, really, I'm getting used to it. In the Philippines, of course, I could go anywhere because I'm already mature. But here,
Hmm.
I must always think of them that they're not looking at me as a mature person. They're always discriminating when it comes to physical, especially your height. So, okay, I have to always have my ID so that I'll be ready to give it to them whenever we need it.
Yeah, that's so true. Even me, when the first time I came and I went to get a bus pass, then they asked me, "Do you want a youth or adult one?" I was like, "Oh, are you confused to see me?" Yeah, I need an adult one. And the ID thing, it happens with me too. Like sometimes I am placed in the pharmacy section of where I work, and people come to buy the drugs there. And some drugs are like age restricted. So sometimes I ask them for the ID. Yes, the Filipino people, because they are short. And now in Canada,
Yes.
it's like we are wearing the masks all the day. And then I'm asking them, like, can you show me the ID? Then they're like, I am a grandfather. So I'm like, okay, but yeah, sometimes it really happens, and it sounds funny to them, but like to the worker, it's like they have to do it because it's their job. Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
I can
Right.
relate to this. So Lorna, is there any message that you would like to give the people who are also dreaming to pursue the same thing, like moving to New Zealand from Philippines or any other country? Any message you would like to give?
Yeah, okay. Particularly who wanted to come here in a student visa because that's what I experienced. First and
Mm-hmm.
foremost, I would really recommend you to go to Immigration New Zealand website and search the skills that are
Okay.
needed here in New Zealand. Okay, because otherwise it would really be hard for you to finally settle here if you do
True.
not have skill. Because of course, if they have the skills available here, they wouldn't need you. Okay.
Yeah.
And then after you found the skills, if your skills is in that list, or maybe you're passionate about, or you have a work experience about that skill, then you search for an institution here that
Mm-hmm.
would offer a course in relation to that skills. Okay, so you just ensure that you have the right requirements and before submission. And I also
Okay.
suggest for you to hire an immigration advisor, yeah, so that they would guide you and assist you with the right documentation. And then, yeah, well, we're already here. This is important. There are two things that I wanted to share to your viewers. Okay. First thing is to do volunteer. You know why?
Oh
Because
yeah.
eventually you will look for a job, right? But most of the companies here wouldn't hire a newly grad without a New Zealand work
Experience.
experience. So how
True.
can you have a work experience if you are just starting here? It is through
True.
volunteerism, okay? So yeah, you're doing it for free, but you're already, building up your work experience here in New Zealand, okay?
Yeah.
And then the second thing is network, okay? You
Mm-hmm.
must do networking. You must also work hard and study hard. You see, during your studies here, some students might think, oh, I'm just a student. We can just be carefree. We are not yet
True.
working. But you see, when you are looking for a job and preparing for your resume or CV, you need someone as your referee or as your
Yeah.
reference. And who
True.
are they be? They could be your tutor. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, once the company call up your tutor, the tutor have handled lots of students. How
True.
can he remember you? But if you are a leader or you study hard, you're very active, you're networking, you treat them nicely, they would readily reminded of you. And they could say,
Yeah.
of course, all the nice things about you. And they could also recommend you to other companies, right? So that's networking and hard work
That's
and
true.
voluntary. Okay, then finally, actually there are still I think five, but it is in the same category. Okay, you must have funds.
Yeah.
It's really broke my heart if there are some friends of mine that lacks money in it. So it's either they would stop study or go back home. But hey, you're already here. You must have really the funds. So ensure you have that funds with you, whether you will
Mm-hmm.
use it or not. It will really be helpful with you. Okay. Next is determination. I know
Mm-hmm.
you will fail, but sometimes, it's not really because of you, but it's the system itself. It's the rules. And that's the way it is because you are new here. Okay.
True.
So you will experience that, but always be determined. You must always think of your goal. Okay. You may fail this time, but tomorrow try it again. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then you must always have that positive thinking. I know we could also have that negative thinking, but use it to your advantage. Like for me, I know that I will not get the job because I do not have enough work experience. So what would be the next step? It's just
True.
preparing me to be what will be the next step. But you should not always dwell into that negative thinking. You
Yeah.
must always be positive because it will also show in you when, especially if you are in an interview. And then, as I've said, you must work hard. Okay,
True.
not just when you're a student, you must also study hard. Okay, treat it professionally. Treat everyone nice, especially when you're already working. You must work hard, not to go into office politics. Okay, and then this is also important. Prayer. There are things that
Of
we cannot
course.
control, such as the rules, the systems, the weather, emergencies like this pandemic. You
Hmm.
cannot control it,
Hmm.
but you can ask the help of someone up there who's powerful to guide you and protect you. Okay. And then lastly, okay, you must also have your family and friends support. In my case, I'm so lucky because I have a mother and my siblings, my sisters, who took care of my two daughters when I left them for a few months.
Yeah.
I'm just so fortunate that they also love and take care of my daughters. So yeah, you must have that family and friends to support you. If you are single, you must have your parents support you, your siblings as well. And if you have your boyfriends or partners or girlfriends, they must also support you and pray for you. And not just to tell them not just always asking you, hey, when are you going to get me there? Okay. Or when are you
Yeah.
going to send money? No, it's not like that. It will take time. Okay, let them know, understand it first, your situation, and
True.
what you need from them is their support and not to pressure. Okay, so that's it.
Yeah, it's really good that volunteering is a really good thing as long as you want to land into a good job. So I would tell my viewers that mostly people wanna be paid, like they prefer to be paid the first time they start working. But in any foreign country, it's really important that if you volunteer, you will end up living, landing in a good job. And then yeah, of course, the last things you said, that because people in the home country, they just believe that since you move to a foreign country, it's like you're earning a lot and you are like you have a lot of money.
Mhm.
They don't practically understand that we have our
Yes.
expenses and we are undergoing our struggles. So this is something important that people out there need to understand, that we have our expenses before we send them money, or before we help them out, or before we call our partner to stay with us. Yeah, this is something really that requires real patience. Yeah, that's really wonderful. I'm so thankful that you shared this experience, Lorna. Uh, okay, I'm so thankful that the viewers will get real practical insights of the immigrant life in New Zealand. Then Lorna, I'll just play a game with you at the end of my episode. This game is really funny. I'll just ask you some
Okay.
questions, and you have to choose one. Okay. In the
Okay.
questions, I'll give you options, and you have to choose one. The first, I don't know, it's embarrassing or it's funny. I don't know how you take it as, but for me, it's just funny. So just imagine a
Okay.
situation when you, your husband, and your children are in a boat in the middle of a sea that's sinking. Okay.
Okay.
And the boat can have your three people, you, your husband, and your daughter. And the boat is almost sinking in the middle of the sea. So the boat can have
Okay.
only two people in it. What will you do?
It's so difficult. Okay. Um. Well, in our case, my daughter knows how to swim
Oh, wow.
than us. So I would, of course, suggest that it's gonna be me and my husband, while my daughter could just
Can
swim or
swim.
just hang onto the boat. It's very practical.
Okay. That's a facility. What if she cannot swim, then what will you do?
And that's why, yeah, I'll do it because I'm a medium good swimmer. Yeah, that's just a little bit, but I think I can survive.
Okay, that's nice. I'm sorry. That's just funny. I remember once it was asked in my class, and a student answered, like, if you have you, your wife, and your mother, and the boat can have only two people, what will you do? And he said, I think I'll jump off myself and let them both survive. So, yeah,
Or maybe
that's
you will also survive from that situation.
true, right?
Out of that situation, okay.
As long as we think about others, God will think about us.
Yeah,
That's
right.
nice. And it's good that your daughter knows swimming. That's nice. Even I don't know it. Okay, so okay, choose one, New Zealand or Philippines. That's tough.
New Zealand or Philippines in terms of
Mhm.
what?
In terms of anything, like staying or lifestyle or stuff.
Of course, New Zealand. This
New
is my
Zealand.
new home now. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, Lorna, last question. Do you know sometimes we use symbols which have full forms, right? Like we use LOL, laugh out louder, right? In messaging and stuff. So sometimes we use the jargon like IDEK, IDEK. Do you know what IDEK is?
I don't know.
You don't know?
What? I don't know what's E. IDK only. I don't know. But IDEK, I'm not sure with letter E. Sorry.
You know IDK?
Yeah, that's I don't know. Correct?
You don't know? IDK?
Ah. IDK.
You don't
UDK.
know? I think you got my joke,
YDK.
right? Yeah, IDEKs, I don't even know. So it's like you ask
Oh, that's
someone,
even. It's
you
my
ask
first time to
someone,
hear that. Sorry.
they're like, I don't even know. And I'm like, oh, really? You don't even know? Okay, I'll ask someone else.
I see. Okay, now I know. Sorry.
Okay, Lorna. So this is the end of my episode. I'm so thankful to you once again that you agreed to be a part of my show despite your busy timeline. And I'm so thankful, and I'm sure that your experiences and struggles will help the viewers to make a more knowledgeable and wise decision for immigrating to New Zealand. Once again, thank you so much. Okay, everyone. So this was Lorna Lianen. I'm so grateful to her that she agreed to be a part of my show and shared her experiences and struggles that she has undergone as she immigrated from Philippines to New Zealand. Thank you so much, Lorna. I'm quite sure that your experiences will help the potential aspirants to make a more knowledgeable and wise decision. Thank you so much. So if you want to be a guest in the coming episodes of my show, please register by applying on the Google form link given in the description. I once again want to say that your achievement doesn't need to be a very big one or a convincing one. An achievement is an achievement, as much small it may be. Share your achievement and become an inspiration for others. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Do let me know in the comments how was the episode. Your comments are really appreciated and I'll get back to them. Thank you so much. Keep watching my episodes. Stay tuned. There is a lot to come. Have a great day.